Good morning, dear readers. Happy to be with you again. Welcome to my book club in Brussels. And what is the good news? The good news is that quite a lot of you guys were with me. I think almost 100 people reading with me, which is really marvelous. Reading one of the most famous books, I think, in the world, Les Misérables. Now, first we have to get back to the situation. So we have Jean Valjean, who is in his new life, Monsieur Madeleine. And he's really thinking about his situation. Why? Because somebody who's still in prison has been accused of crimes that he did. So now he's thinking about all that. And so I think the last page, the end of the last page was il se demandait, ou je me demandais, mais anyhow, it was, I'm sorry, Monsieur Madeleine se demandait, he asked himself, he wondered sévèrement ce qu'il avait entendu par ceci. So he asked himself severely, like really seriously, what he had heard or understood by this sentence. Ceci is the sentence that's going to come. Mon but est atteint. So my goal is achieved. I achieved my goal. And so he's thinking, what did I mean by that? I think that my goal is achieved. What did I mean by that? Il se déclara que sa vie avait un but, en effet. So he declared to himself that his life had a goal, indeed. So he's conscious of the fact that, well, his life has a goal. Mais quel but? But which goal? Cacher son nom, like to hide your own name, because people do not know that he was Jean Valjean before, and they even think it's another person. Tromper la police, so deceive the police. Était-ce pour une chose si petite qu'il avait fait tout ce qu'il avait fait? So was it for a thing so little? Yeah, in English you would say such a little thing that he had done all that he had done. Est-ce qu'il n'avait pas un autre but qui était le grand, qui était le vrai? So, est-ce que, well, you know that in French very often you start with est-ce que, which we do not really translate, but didn't he have another goal, which was the big one, the big goal, which was the true goal. Vrai means true, the real goal. Sauver, non sa personne, mais son âme. So this bigger goal, he explicits what he means by that. It's to save not his person, but his soul. He doesn't want to save him as a person, the fact that he's now Mr. Madeleine, but maybe his soul and not live his whole life with this guilty feeling. I think that's what they mean. Redevenir honnête et bon. So become again, because devenir is to become again honest and good. Wouldn't that be a better goal, to become honest and good? Être un juste, like being a just person or a fair person, est-ce que ce n'était pas là, surtout, là uniquement, ce qu'il avait toujours voulu? So again, the est-ce que you do not really translate, but wasn't it there? But I think in English you'd rather say that. Wasn't it that especially, and that only, what or that he had always wanted, like being an honest and good person, ce que l'évêque lui avait ordonné, what the bishop had ordered or maybe instructed him to do. Because if you have been reading with me from the beginning, you know that he has been living one night with the bishop, and, well, he stole something there, and then the bishop, he said, well, do not do that anymore. I think you guys who have been reading with me know what I'm talking about. So, fermer la porte à son passé, to close the door to your past. Mais il ne la fermait pas, grand Dieu. But he did not close it. He did not close the door of the past. Grand Dieu, hein, like good Lord. Il la rouvrait en faisant une action infâme. So he reopened it. He reopened the door. And why is it la? It's feminine because it goes back to door, and door is feminine in French. So he opened it again while doing an infamous action, a bad action. Mais il redevenait un voleur. But he became again a thief. Et le plus odieux des voleurs, and the most odious of all thieves. Il volait à un autre son existence, sa vie, sa paix, sa place au soleil. And this sentence is really important because it says, he stole from somebody else, from another one, un autre, his existence, his life, his peace, and his place in the sunshine. Meaning that, well, this other person, Jean Mathieu, I think he's called, is now in prison and people think he did what, in fact, Mr. Madeleine, Jean Valjean, did. Il devenait un assassin. He became a murderer while leaving this guy in prison. Il tuait, he killed, il tuait moralement un misérable homme. He killed morally a miserable man. Il lui infligeait cette affreuse mort vivante. He, well, inflicted on him or imposed on him this horrible living death. Cette mort à ciel ouvert. So this death in open air, meaning this guy in prison, well, he knows from himself he did not do what they say he did. And Jean Valjean knows that he did it himself. So, in fact, he's killing this person. Qu'on appelle le bagne. So, it's a death qu'on appelle le bagne that we call prison. Prison is a very familiar word for prison. Au contraire, se livrer, sauver cet homme frappé d'une si lugubre erreur, reprendre son nom, redevenir par devoir le forçat Jean Valjean, c'était là vraiment achever sa résurrection. So, on the contrary, to se livrer, it means like to report yourself, to surrender, to give yourself in. To save this man, hit by such a horrible error, or gloomy error, lugubre, it's rather gloomy error, to take back his name, like his original name, Jean Valjean, redevenir, so become again by duty, the galley slave Jean Valjean. It was that, and in French you see, well, we'd rather say in French, it was there, but here meaning it was that really to achieve his resurrection, that really could liberate his soul. Et fermer à jamais l'enfer d'où il sortait. And to close à jamais, forever, for always, the hell from which he was coming. So this would be the only way to close the door of hell. It's like really, well, yeah, being honest and saying, well, I did that crime. Y retomber en apparence, c'était en sortir en réalité. Like falling back there, and the there is the little word, falling back there, in appearance, it was getting out of it in reality. Yeah, you think, okay, I'm getting back to prison, but your soul is liberated. Il fallait faire cela. It was necessary to do that. He's very decided. Il n'avait rien fait s'il ne faisait pas cela. He hadn't done anything good, I would think, if he did not do that. So he was convinced that's what he has to do. Eh bien, dit-il, prenons ce parti. Well, he said, let's decide that. And prendre parti, it means to decide. So let's decide, let's adopt that plan. Faisons notre devoir. Let's do our duty. Sauvons cet homme. Let's save this man. Well, you know, if you have questions, if you do not understand the structure of the sentences, you can ask me. I'm there to answer your questions. So, il prononça ces paroles à haute voix, sans s'apercevoir qu'il parlait tout haut. So, he pronounced those words aloud. À haute voix is like in a high voice, but it means aloud. Without s'apercevoir, noticing that he was talking tout haut, but tout haut means also, well, aloud. Sa rêverie n'avait point dévié. His reverie, or maybe his daydreaming, had not deviated, so he was still very concentrated. Il continuait de voir clairement son devoir écrit en lettres lumineuses qui flamboyaient devant ses yeux et se déplaçaient avec son regard. So he continued to see clearly his duty written in luminous letters, but maybe instead of luminous, we could find another word. Let's see. Maybe I could say bright letters, which flamboyaient, they flared up. Flamboyer, we see flamme like flames, making like flames. They blazed or they flared up in front of his eyes. And se déplacer means moving, like changing places, like they were moving with his look, with his eyes. When he looks to the left, when he looks to the right, this thing is following him. And what does it say in bright letters? It says, va, go, nomme-toi, name yourself, take back your name, dénonce-toi, like report yourself. That's the message he's getting. Il voyait de même, et comme si elles se fussent mues devant lui, avec des formes sensibles, les deux idées qui avaient été jusque-là la double règle de sa vie. So he saw likewise, and as if they, and why is it feminine plural? It's because it goes back to ideas. Idée in French, it's feminine. So as if the ideas were changed, se muer, yeah, it means like to transformed in front of him with material forms. So he sees those two ideas very clearly in his mind. Forme sensible means like really materialized shapes, which he really sees in front of his eyes. So, les deux idées, the two ideas, who had been until there the double rule of his life. And which was this double rule, or those two ideas? Cacher son nom, sanctifier son âme. So, to hide his name and to sanctify or to bless his soul. Those two ideas were, in fact, the rules of his life until then. Pour la première fois, elles lui apparaissaient absolument distinctes. So for the first time, they, again, these two ideas, appeared to him absolutely very distinguished, like very clearly. Et il voyait la différence qui les séparait. And he saw the difference which separated them. Il reconnaissait que l'une de ces idées était nécessairement bonne. He recognized, he admitted, that one of the ideas was necessarily the good one. Tandis que, whereas, I think now they're going to talk about the other idea, but let's go to the next page. Where is it? Tandis que, yes, l'autre pouvait devenir mauvaise. Whereas the other one, the other idea, could become bad. Que cela était le dévouement et que celle-ci était la personnalité. So that idea was the devotion, and that this one, so the other idea, was the personality. There is his personality and there is his devotion. So he really is talking about those two ideas. Que l'une disait le prochain et que l'autre disait moi. That the one idea said le prochain. Well, le prochain, it could be the next one. But here, I think it's referring to the Bible. When in the Bible, they talk about le prochain. It means, in fact, your fellow man, the other one. So one idea says your fellow man, and the other said me. Que l'une venait de la lumière et que l'autre venait de la nuit. That one idea came from light and the other one came from the night or the darkness. Elles se combattaient. So those two ideas were fighting, were struggling together. Il les voyait se combattre. He saw them fighting together. So it's really in his mind, those two ideas are fighting, and, well, he doesn't know what to choose. À mesure qu'il songeait, elles avaient grandi devant l'œil de son esprit. Well, à mesure que, I would translate it by as he, or while he was thinking, he was reflecting, they, the ideas, had grandi, become bigger, in front of the eye of his spirit. Elles avaient maintenant des statures colossales. So these two ideas, had now enormous statures, had become enormous. Et il lui semblait qu'il voyait lutter au-dedans de lui-même, dans cet infini dont nous parlions tout à l'heure, au milieu des obscurités et des lueurs, une déesse et une géante. Yes, so those two ideas, he sees them a bit like two women. So he says, and it seemed to him that he saw them fight in the inside of himself, in his mind, in this infinity of which we talked before, tout à l'heure means before, in the middle of the darkness and the lueur, some flames or some glimpses or some glowing, what did he see? The two ideas, which are represented by une déesse et une géante, a goddess and a giant. Both are feminine, so he sees it as like two women, a goddess and a giant. They're fighting together. Il était plein d'épouvante, mais il lui semblait que la bonne pensée l'emportait. So he was full of horror, but it seemed to him that the good idea or the good thought l'emportait, was winning or was prevailing, emporté. Il sentait qu'il touchait à l'autre moment décisif de sa conscience et de sa destinée. So he felt that he was touching to the other decisive moment of his conscience and of his destiny. So now he's going to take a second decision, I think. Que l'évêque avait marqué la première phase de sa vie nouvelle, so that the bishop had indicated the first phase or period of his new life, et que ce Champmathieu en marquait la seconde. And that this person, Champmathieu, who's in prison instead of him, marked the second period or the second phase. Après la grande crise, la grande épreuve. So after the big crisis, the big challenge. Et puis tout à coup, il pensa à Fantine. And then, tout à coup, all at once, he thought of Fantine. Tiens, dit-il, et cette pauvre femme, Well, he said, and this poor lady. Ici, une crise nouvelle se déclara. So here, a new crisis was declared. Yeah. Se déclara, well, the passive construction in French is often made with se. If you want to know more about it, please, please, please ask me. I'm happy to give you more information. Fantine, apparaissant brusquement dans sa rêverie, y fut comme un rayon d'une lumière inattendue. So Fantine, appearing suddenly in his rêverie or daydreaming, was there like a ray of light, of an unexpected light. Il lui sembla que tout changeait d'aspect autour de lui. It seemed to him that everything changed of appearance, of aspect, of appearance around him. Il s'écria, he screamed out, he shouted out loud, ah ça, mais jusqu'ici je n'ai considéré que moi. Ah, that, but until here, I have only, and remember the only is the ne que, I've only considered myself. Je n'ai eu égard qu'à ma convenance. I have had égard, maybe regard, I only had regard, or I only considered my own convenience, à ma convenance, to my own convenience. Il me convient de me taire ou de me dénoncer. It is convenient to me, il me convient, it's convenient to me, to hush, to be silent, me taire, or to report myself, me dénoncer. Cacher ma personne ou sauver mon âme. To hide my person or to save my soul. So he says, all that I have been thinking about, but it was only about me. Être un magistrat méprisable et respecté ou un galérien infâme et vénérable, c'est moi, c'est toujours moi, ce n'est que moi. So to be a méprisable, a despicable magistrate and respected, or a galley slave, infamous and, what shall we say, esteemed. That's me. It's always me. It's only me. So he says, okay, I can be a galley slave and still be esteemed because I said it was me. I can be this magistrate. I can be good. I can be respected, but also infamous. Mais mon Dieu, c'est de l'égoïsme tout cela. But my God, that is egoism, all that. Ce sont des formes diverses de l'égoïsme, mais c'est de l'égoïsme. So they are forms, they are various forms of egoism, but it is still egoism. I'm egotistical. Si je songeais un peu aux autres, if I thought a little bit of the others, the other people, la première sainteté est de penser à autrui. So the first holiness, let's say, is to think of autrui, means, well, the other one, like my fellow neighbor, of other people. Voyons, examinons. So let's see and let's examine. Moi, accepté, moi, effacé, moi, oublié, qu'arrivera-t-il de tout ceci? So if I am let aside, if I'm erased, if I'm forgotten, what will happen of all this? If he does this, what's going to happen? Si je me dénonce, if I report myself, on me prend, they take me, they arrest me, they take me, on lâche ce Champmathieu, they let go this person Champmathieu, on me remet aux galères, c'est bien. They put me back again in the galleys. That's good. Et puis, and then, que se passe-t-il ici? What is happening here, in this village? Ah, ici, il il y a un pays, une ville. Ah, here there is a country and there is a city. And I think I can guess what he is going to get to, because I think if he says, okay, maybe I should leave things like this and think of Fantine. I don't know what you think, but I hope you will be there next week to read on with me, because it's a very, very nice and wonderful book. So I really hope you will be with me. Hope to see you next week. Bye.